me. He was at that time he was studying in Sri Venkateshwar College. We used to frequently meet because the South Campus was very much near to SBC. We used to hang out together, and then I used to go to his hostel. And up to that time, I was thinking that he will take the conventional path. Maybe he can apply for civil services or whatever the things that goes in our mindset. uh, when I went to his in one of during those time only, when I went to his hostel, then I came to know that he is making some short videos and posting it on YouTube. At that time, his endeavor was known as Bakat Entertainment, as I remember.
Yes, it was.
Huh. So it was a very, it was a very unnatural thing that has happened. Means earlier we used to see these things only in newspapers or movies, that some person in college days they have started as an amateur. Means at that time the Facebook where came, and all we thought that the ideas which came during the college time has become such a big, selling things in the market. So for me it was really very, and when I talked this thing with my parents, they also were very astonished that the image of Gulshan was always a very serious person who is engrossed in his studies, and he will make some career in academic line or whatever the line he chooses further, that is his personal choice. But it was a really, from that point onwards, our interaction was mainly limited to such type of endeavors only, what he is doing. um, and as we all know, he belongs to Nepal. Means his family is still in Nepal, I think. Still it is in
It has changed. They have shifted and all, so it's
Okay,
another
okay.
story.
Okay, fine, fine. So at that time, his father, sister, and everyone, and his younger brother was also admitted in Vidyapit. I think
Yeah.
younger brother was studying in Vidyapit that time. Now he has passed out. And so it was again when we met in 2017. At that time, I was in Delhi. I was working in Indian Agriculture Research Institute for my MSc research project. That time we used to meet frequently in CP and used to talk whatever the things are going on in his life. Uh, so one thing what I have learned from Gulshan, like means that I am trying to imbibe in my personality. This man is full of, he has a lot of patience. First of all, if I can epitomize a person with patience, the person's image comes in my mind is always Gulshan, because he has faced a lot of challenges. And I think he must be facing still, means it's a going on with his personality, and with his great determination and positive thinking. He has garnered a lot of experience with his failures, with his success, with his everything. And he never boasts of anything. Like whatever the things he got in his life, he accepts it with full humility, and he never complains about anything that has happened to him or whatever. Because this line is not an easy thing, especially for persons who belong to middle class families or lower income families. This is not a easy task to venture in such type of risky type of fields, leaving the studies and doing something which is out of the box. So I really appreciate him for his endeavors, and it's my complete support to him for his future endeavors also. Being a friend, I will always like to see him rising and rising. And I also want to see him getting married soon, because marriage is a thing, relationships are a thing which Gulshan has always kept secret with us. And it is really my pleasure to being a presenter to him. And I really want to see him uh, get lot of success in his life. So with the permission of all, I would like to introduce Mr. Gulshan Kumar Singh for the talk in the today's evening program. So here is Gulshan. Thank you very much.
Uh, Bapre, Subhankar just said a lot of things. I don't know, but it was too big an introduction, Shubhankar. I don't know if I deserve that, but anyhow, thank you for making out time from your busy schedule and be here. Hello everyone, the seniors and my classmates. I'm Gulshan, and as Shubhankar said, we joined Vidyapeeth in 2008 as a +2 student. And as a +2 student, we all know, like in Vidyapeeth back then, it was either you have to be a doctor or you have to be an engineer. So I was with Shubhankar in by PCB category, where we were supposed to be doctors. And that, like, back then I used to think that, okay, fine, being a doctor, it is a clear-cut understanding in my head, and I have chalked out a very clear-cut career path. But when I look back today, now it's almost 13 years down the line, I feel that I was not even remotely close to clarity. Because towards the end of my Vidyapeeth days, I realized that I was kind of not cut out to be a doctor. But still, I tried. And as Shubhankar said, I could not clear the MBBS exams. So I went to pursue a bachelor's degree in zoology. That was the reason that I had to take a drop. Like, I passed out in 2010, but I came to Delhi University in 2011 to pursue a bachelor's degree in zoology. And the idea was that after finishing it, I will go on for a higher study in pure science and will have a career as a researcher. But there again, I don't know whether to say it was luckily or unluckily, by second semester, I realized I will not be able to go ahead with my career plan of being a researcher as well. So it was a kind of dead end for me. So the hunt for my career, which started in my second semester of Delhi University, sort of is still going on, and that's what I told Ritesh da when he got in touch with me regarding this Praktani Adda session. But I said, Ki, Dada, I don't have much of a story to say. I don't know what I will be saying. But he said, Ki, no, like, but after having spent like more than 7 years in field of filmmaking and advertising, working as mainly as a script writer and director, and running my own advertising company for last 3 years with whatever little glory and gold that came my way. Like Ritesh, that convinced me that I should go ahead with this session and share my experiences as an entrepreneur in digital content space. So here I am trying to do, I'm just trying to share what all little bit I could learn. And so to begin with, the moment we hear digital content, the first thing that comes to our mind are the viral videos that we come across various digital platforms. What I mean to say is that for someone who is 5 or 6 years junior to me, the idea of creating a viral video or the idea of going viral online won't sound like anything which is new. It's for granted, because every day people go viral. Every day we come across few videos. Okay, fine, it just went viral. It just went viral. This is a new upcoming viral artist or whatnot. But for me, during the time when I had seriously started contemplating getting into filmmaking, which would be in 2012, some of the earliest viral content channels on YouTube and Facebook were just coming up. And I was not even aware of anything named Instagram back then. Speaking broadly, this was for the very simple reason that internet consumption back then in India was far less than what it is today. And if I look back particularly at myself, I was not even using a smartphone, but a Nokia 2690 model gifted to me by my nani after I completed my 12th standard from Vidyapeeth. And also I had no laptop back in college. So my internet consumption was limited only to recreational use of Facebook, YouTube, and very little that were required for completing my college assignments and other such stuff. And this all I used to do through the common computers that were available in the study room of my college hostel. And like many of my friends, I was spending most of my spare times either goofing around with them or watching movies. I don't know. They say that's what people do in college, but I don't know. I'm not sure about others, but I certainly did only these kind of things. So, so when I started creating my short films, like where that's what Shubhankar said, it was like a small group of friends in hostel that, who like someone had a DSLR camera, one another guy had a MacBook, and I was there. Okay, fine, I'll write some story and let's see. And there were a couple of guys from Dramatic Society who were like, okay, fine, I can act. Like if we can do street theaters, and so maybe I can act in front of camera for your film. So this way, we, like a group of friends, started making film and all. So when I started, so I was not much influenced by the themes or trends of the viral contents that were being produced back then. As I said, due to my limited consumption of internet back then. Instead, I was, or we as a group of friends who were trying to make short films in hostel, were mostly inspired by the big names of filmmaking, like, Kubrick, Scorsese, Kurosawa, Coppola, and all. Like we used to watch their films and appreciate it. So needless to say that we are fan of their work and all. And also, so since we're inspired by these big names, and what we used to achieve, like we used, okay, fine, chalo, let's write this story, gather a couple of actors that were required. We have our hostel college space and a camera to shoot. So we used to gather a ragtag team of filmmaker, actors, and technicians, and we used to go ahead. But needless to say that what we were able to make back then were nothing but a very pathetic version of masterpieces we used to conceive in our heads. Like, on paper, it was like very grand, very good film we were going to make. But when we used to shoot it and make it, it was not that good. But yeah, that's what we were doing. But anyway, by the end of my third year of college, I was able to create a couple of decent clips, which I could screen in my college entrepreneurship festival, where college students showcased their ideas and business plans and interacted with some of the leading venture capitalists and angel investors. So I also went there. I took a laptop and a speaker and started playing. I was just playing my videos, a little small video clips on a loop, and just trying to explain to whosoever was coming and sparing a couple of minutes to go through it. So of the few people who showed interest in my ideas, one was an official from India Angel Network. So he came there and he spent time going through all the videos. Like generally people are coming and were looking at one and then were just walking around. But he came there, he said, show me all the videos that you have. I said, I don't have much. I have just 2-3, but show me all 2-3. And so I showed him all. I had made till then, and also he kind of discussed in detail the ideas behind them, what are the stories that I was trying to tell, and how did I come up with this story and all. Finally, so like it was nice 20-25 minutes of interaction. So finally he gave me his visiting card and told me to meet me again, but this time with a more concrete idea and a possible business plan around it. I was like, okay, I was thrilled and I was clueless about what he said at once. I was thrilled because because someone was serious about my ideas. When you are starting up, so little bit of appreciation wherever you get, so it boosts your morale a bit more. So I was thrilled. It was quite thrilling that, okay, someone, a possible investor, is showing interest in my ideas. Okay, so this is a good thing. But I was clueless because I had no idea, like, how to make a business plan, because I had heard about it. Friends of my commerce stream, they used to always talk about business plan, B plan, they used to call, and the pitching and all, how you pitch to the investor to raise fund for your venture and all. So I had heard this thing, but never had made one. But anyhow, I tried my level best to come up with something concrete to present to him. As I said earlier, I was mostly inspired by the traditional way of filmmaking. So when I met him next, which was at some entrepreneurship event at IIT Delhi around March or April, I'm not sure of the month, but that day my department has organized a farewell party for our batch in 2014. It was in 2014 or March or April maybe. So I presented to him a treatment note of adapting Aravind Adiga's The White Tiger into a film. But he listened to me, but he had sort of a clear idea, something different in his mind. He wanted me to come up with something which is similar to the viral contents platform back then. He said to me that he could try getting some funds if I can present to him a business plan around a viral content platform. Now, for someone like me back then, who often enjoyed watching those videos and wanted to have a career in filmmaking, getting money to start a similar platform seemed like a wonderful opportunity. But his offer caught me off guard on two accounts. First, though I often enjoyed watching those viral videos, I was never interested in making those videos because somewhere I was not confident that I would be able to pull off those videos with a kind of humor which was their USP. I mean, still is the USP of those videos with perfection. I felt that as a content creator, my sensibilities were not in sync with the idea. And the second reason was that since I had no knowledge of such new age storytelling, I could not see any way forward as to which direction it would take me and my venture. And without this vision, it was impossible for me to come up with any business plan as asked by him. So I failed to take any advantage of this probable breakthrough opportunity. I don't know if I would have been able to come with some idea present to him. Maybe he would have funded, and I would have had a very successful maybe venture. What should I say? Viral content platform. But yeah, it did not work out back then. The reason I told such a long story is that only after this incident, I could experience what we all know as a theory, that before starting anything, one should definitely be aware of their interests and have enough knowledge to have a vision of probable way forward with the venture. And this becomes an even more pressing need when one chooses entrepreneurship because it is so exhaustive and takes so much of one's time that if there is lack of clarity, then it becomes absolutely painful to go through the grind. And this I can tell you as someone who is going through it as we speak. As I said, I am still going through those what should I say, challenges, as the subject of this talk says, like challenges of entrepreneurship in a digital content market. So anyhow, so those are two primary requirements which one should have before starting up. And though the most common understanding is that we need money to run a successful business, which is kind of true. But I will keep the capital requirement only after the idea and vision. Again, one thing I should make absolutely clear is whatever I just said is not universal truth, but my opinion based on my personal experience and understanding of the people around me who have successfully executed their ideas or are in a better position than me in their entrepreneurial journey. Like I know, so their ideas have moved forward. They are like not necessarily from this field, but yeah, they had different field to they have started and they are doing better. So this is what I figured out, like I vision, clarity of vision, idea and vision, and then the funding. So this is the sequence. Again, a very subjective, my personal opinion. Another important thing is understanding the market dynamics. With the ever increasing size and dynamic nature of this market, one of the main challenges for any digital media business is to forge a lasting relationship with discriminating consumers, because consumers are spoiled by available choices and are limited by time. That is, they all have just 24 hours a day. Quoting them is a mammoth task. This there is a famous quote by I don't know if it's famous or not, but Reed Hastings once said, CEO of Netflix, that what the real competition of Netflix is. He is not worried about Amazon or HBO or Hulu or anything, but he says that the real competition of Netflix is sleep, biological necessity. So with the advent of digital content and rise of OTT platforms, the shelf life and accessibility of any piece of video work has been extended way beyond what it used to be. And this has also changed the revenue model such that exhibitors are willing to take up more and more contents from the creators as place and time as a barrier to exhibition, which earlier used to be, has been disrupted. This essentially means that there is a huge market for content on OTT platform, which can be streamed by the audience whenever and wherever they want, as long as they are awake and like they are not sleeping. And that is what Hastings meant to say, that till the time they are awake, we need to, I don't know, give them something to binge upon. And like binge watching is, I guess, it has come only after this OTT thing, because you can do it anywhere from anywhere. So in nutshell, there is a big opportunity out in the market for anyone who wants to jump into this. The rise of OTT platforms have democratized the whole process to some extent, and the recent COVID lockdowns have completely redefined the scope of this market. Like there was a certain understanding about the size of this market before lockdown, but then suddenly this unfortunate pandemic happened and the whole world went into a cell, and it kind of completely changed people's perspective towards the scope of this market. So yeah, as I said, once the idea and the vision is set, the next thing we need is capital. And if anyone who is starting out must have realized that this whole process, that is filmmaking or content production, is fairly capital intensive exercise. So figuring out the source of finance is crucial. Talking personally, be it my advertising firm Ex Nihilo or digital content platform Monetize, both are completely bootstrapped ventures. And anyone who goes to the YouTube channel of Monetize and see how frequently we have been able to share videos, which is not so frequently, that is, there are considerable gaps in between sharing of two videos. It's easy to deduce the financial crunch we face during operation. The simple equation that is in action here is that I try to run Montajir from the money that Ex Nihilo makes through its commercial projects. The cost of production or the cost of producing content for Montajir is further subsidized through collaborations, where like a lot of artists collaborate and a lot of technicians collaborate to bring down the cost of total production. Otherwise, I think if I have to operate it on, make it on a market rate, I will not be able to produce even a single video that we have been able to make for Montajir. So this is how it has been working. So despite our best effort to ramp up the production, there is often a big gap, huge gap between two videos. And one thing that is crucial to have a successful content platform is that you have to be very consistent in producing contents. You cannot let your audience forget you. So you have to keep them reminding, keep them feeding them regular content. So but this we have not been able to do till now, and despite our best effort to ramp up the production, we have not been able to achieve it, because Ex Nihilo, being a bootstrap venture itself, doesn't have enough corpus of money to ensure that Montajir productions don't suffer. And if I completely ignore the impact of COVID on the market, when I say market, I say the market of Ex Nihilo, which is mostly the advertising thing. So a few problems that we face in a smooth operation, and where these problems were even true before onset of this pandemic. That I could, from my experience, I could just classify three category of clients. While so one is that there are good clients, so I'm not talking about them. They are very easy to work with, and they pay you on time, and everything is smooth and fine. So I'm just talking about those group of people with whom working is not so smooth. So there are certain clients have like extended payment terms, and due to this our money remains parked away from our reach for a longer period of time, and all this while our debt keeps on increasing, as all the vendors, technicians and artists need to be paid on time. I cannot hold their money that client have not paid, and so on and so forth. So that is I have to manage on my own end that everyone who is working, like, they have to be paid on time, and client can take their own time. They generally take, a lot of them take their own sweet time in paying, doing the complete payment. So this is one category. This is still good, like not that big a problem. But the second one, another category of clients are those who will arm twist you to renegotiate the agreed price. Like, before starting off a project, you agreed on a certain amount, like on a scope of work, and then a certain price for it. But once you are into the process or you are into the project, they will change the scope of work. That will that will just it becomes very difficult in that agreed budget, because suddenly they expand it, and then they will again at time they will say, okay, fine, this will hello,
black coffee.
so like they would say ki, fine, that we agreed on this price, but let's bring it down a bit further. And this they will do either midway or after its completion, but definitely before making the final payment. So this is one second group. And then comes a third category of client, and they are like absolute thugs. Like they won't pay your money once the project is over. So they simply just refuse to pay. Like, okay, fine, you did my job, good for you. I'm not paying whatever money I have to pay. Like, if you are able to get advance or whatever little bit of payment they have done, that is what, and they don't pay that. So unfortunately, I have had a couple of them since I started ex nihilo, and I came across one of them just a week back. And this one swindled me off of the highest monetary value. And needless to say, that such clients break your financial backbone, but the most damning impact such experiences have is on your spirit. Like, you just it's just a bad feeling. I mean, it feels really bad when this happens. It's almost like being robbed. But I guess these are the realities which are true across other industries as well. And before starting out in any industry, be it digital content or any other industry, we should be clear in our head about such situations and be mentally prepared to deal with them. The most prudent way to avoid such scenario or to tackle it with considerable ease is to stick to the formula of not commencing any project without a formal work order and advance payment. Now this is true for all industries, but anyone who is part of this industry, especially film production, will know how much things ride on trust and personal credentials. It's not always that formal. A lot of it's in a kind of an informal organization. This whole business, we do a lot of project without advance or work order, and nothing goes wrong because there is understanding. You deliver the project and the client pays up on time at once if you are lucky, or in installments as mutually agreed. But once in a while you do come across some what should I say, rotten apple, and it suddenly makes the whole basket stink. But here I would say that instead of complaining, if possible, we should move on, which is easier said than done. And for someone like me who is currently going through one such debacle, it makes me sound almost like a hypocrite, but still I would like to consider what Winston Churchill had once said: success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. It's a big word, I don't know whatever it means, but I think it's good, fine. Let's see what happens. Anyway, let's come back to finance. Looking at how often our productions are bogged down by the current way of financing, Muntazir, it is imperative that we should look outside towards other avenues of finance, since we believe that we have that what we have to offer via Muntazir is culturally relevant and also has a huge market. So we are currently working on raising capital via investment, brand association, and we are also considering support from patrons. Like these are a few popular method of raising money for your project. And the this money will be used in content creation and marketing it across different digital platforms. One another way to raise funds for your project is crowdfunding, which I tried for my documentary Footloose, a story of belonging. But unfortunately, we could not reach our target, so I returned all the money back to the individual donors. Though this was an unsuccessful what should I say, attempt at crowdfunding, but we learned an important lesson here, that is importance of network. As an entrepreneur, what keeps you afloat at the end of the day is your network, because opportunities won't come out of nowhere, they come attached with the people. So to know the right one helps, and it helps a big time. Like I can say it from my personal experience that yeah, network is very important, which I guess I was not so like no, I did not pay much attention to it before, but after failed crowdfunding attempt, we realized that whatever little money we were able to raise through that campaign was coming from the people that I knew, or the people, other people in the team of that film knew. So basically it was coming from very close network of people. So I thought, well, if you have a good network, maybe it would be a successful crowdfunding attempt. Like it would have been a successful crowdfunding attempt, which I did not have back then, and I was not even looking seriously at networking. Then I realized, yeah, I mean, it was like a kind of committing a harakiri. As an entrepreneur, you don't go out for networking. So yeah, one should be open to, and one should seek to create some good network, because in long run it will help, and it helps even in short run. So the whatever like whatever I have told, or what I have said till now, it will vary from person to person, because like the let's say their opinion about networking, or their opinion about raising money, or their opinion about creating content, they will vary from one person to another, because they are subjective experiences. But there are certain things which are true for this content space in general. Better one can assess their offerings along those lines, higher are the chances of it becoming a success. So one thing that is for sure is that anyone who wants to start, or anyone who is like who is thinking of starting anything like this, so they should find and tell a unique story. If your content isn't telling a unique story, nothing else you do will make up for this. You can count on people clicking away fast, like they just come and they'll just find another similar thing and they'll just go away. You won't be able to create a loyal fan base. If you look at the popular content creators, you will see they all have a unique story and point of view to tell it to the audience. And if you look into the noise of digital content, you will find copycats of those original creators. Like there are few original creators, and then there are copycats who just reciprocate what they have been doing successfully. They too, like the digital market or digital content market is such that a lot of copycats also get big success, but still it depends on chance. So it's always better to have a unique story to tell rather than copying something. Second thing is distribution of that content. You should strategically distribute it. If a great piece of content is published but no one is around to engage with it, does it still makes an impact? No. Content must be published at the right time on the right platform and targeted to the right audience. or otherwise it will just die. It will just die. It will just be there and no one will see it. And if you are not using analytics or many lot of other softwares that are available to track the audience, how, like, the kind of audience you are the audience that are coming and interacting with your content, then, and you don't have like to say that if you don't have understanding of the audience that is interacting with the content, so anything what you will be publishing will be almost like taking shot in the dark. So after that, like once you have published, so strategic distribution of content is important. And once you have published your content and then you are trying to you know uh, send it across to the right audience, then another thing that you must do is that engage with your audience, because it's not enough to distribute great content across the right channels and leave it at that, hoping for the best. The most successful creators, content creators, or any brand who actively engage in content marketing actively engage with their fans too, creating a two-way conversation that encourages question, comments, observation. So like these online conversations are a great marketing research and tells you more about your audience and the direction you should take to grow that base even wider. Another point is that when you feel appropriate, it's an appropriate time, monetize your content. Now there are more ways than ever to directly monetize high quality published content. But the tricky part is to know how or when you are ready, or your content is ready to be monetized. So in most cases, the distribution strategy of your content will decide the way it will be monetized. For example, if you are distributing your content on a YouTube channel, then it has completely different requirement for getting monetized as compared to if you are selling to some other OTT platform like Netflix or Amazon. Apart from these, there are certain OTT platforms where you get paid directly based on the number of views your content garners, without any requirement of minimum watch hours and number of subscribers like YouTube. Like, in order to monetize your content on YouTube, you need to have like 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. And then only the ad will start running on your videos. But now ad runs anyway, but that ad will start paying only after you have reached this threshold. And the last thing is that like after whether you have monetized your content or not, but one thing that is very essential is that you should analyze your content engagement. Like there are a lot of tools, in fact all the platforms, like be it Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, they all have like different tools for insight into how your content have been performing and what kind of audience, what audience groups have been interacting and how they have been interacting with your content. So you should have a good understanding of this, and you should be honest in analyzing about it, because the best content creators use data analytics and feedback loop to measure the impact of their work. And if you ignore this part, then I think this is just a half, like you are not doing the second half which is required for this for your content to work. Because making content is one thing, and then knowing the kind of audience you have and how you can just use those information to grow your platform is the second half which you have to do. So these are like 4 or 5 things which is true in general, like which is basically what's the objective thing that one should try to do to run, if they want to run the platform or content creation company, whatever way one is planning to start Now the subjective part being what kind of content they are willing to create. Now that would be completely a subjective thing, because there is no such rule that, or there is no such category of the fine, if you create such content, it is a guarantee that it will succeed. So that is again a very subjective thing, that the one who starts up, they will choose it. But these 4-5 points is a very objective thing, everyone should do, everyone does it. So these are few things one can do. Now again, another thing is that this market is heavily driven by technology. It keeps changing as and when there is any new breakthrough. Like in India, we saw a boom in digital content consumption as the smartphones started to become more affordable to the masses. It boomed further when the internet became cheaper. So better understanding of technical innovation of the future will help in understanding the way this market will be heading. And if you have if you are aware of the future course of market, maybe you can tailor your offering accordingly, so that you can make a best out of the possibilities that future has to offer. And I guess with this I would like to end my monologue, because yeah, this is what I thought a little bit I can share. So now if there anyone wants to ask anything, maybe I'll try to answer them. I think there are a few readings in me.
Okay, Gulshan, I think I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, like in our time, which was say 90s and early decade of this, so we had primarily TV at our home. So most of the content, we consumed it through TV. And of course, as you pointed out, with the coming of internet and many of the people having smartphones, so the content moved from TV, in terms of. So when you make, say,
I lost your voice, Dada.
say, I will give an example. I want to know.
Yeah,
say,
you are. Hello.
We can come to, so want to have Vidyapit centenary solution. So what is the process, ex
Dada, your
nihilo and
voice
your
is
team?
breaking. Your voice is breaking. I could not get the whole thing. Maybe you can type. Okay, so I get your question now. What is the process of creating a content in your team? So as I said, the Monetize, the platform is mainly dedicated to, like, yeah, we want to create a content based on like, Urdu and Hindi poetries as of now. So the basic idea is that, we have like 4-5 member team, and that we brainstorm, like, what to come up with. So at times we are like, driven by the occasion. Okay, let's say like we tried in the very first year in 2018, that it was a time of Diwali, and we said we should make something about Diwali. Then we came across a very good poem. It was by some anonymous poet, like, we could not find the name of the poet, but poetry was very good, so we made that. But mostly it has been sort of, what should I say, through, because the people, the team members, we brainstorm, we come across ideas, because the basic idea is fixed, that we are not going we are not delving into, let's say, a science fiction genre here, or let's say we are not getting into anything about what should I say, any murder mystery here on Montague. So the path is more or less charted, that we'll try to adapt the poetry or short stories into our narrative. So what we do is we take little liberty in uh, uh, liberty in treatment, like so there was this one poem from a poet from Pakistan, mujhe maar dijiye. So like the idea, that the poet had written that poem was like, it was very political in its nature, but here what we did, we just twisted around and put and infused a very romantic angle to it. Well, we were like mortally afraid that he might feel really bad, but then he sent a really good message, that recording his video, like on his phone, that I'm so happy that you twisted it, and that it was a sort of different thing, but you guys have given it a very nice twist to it, so I like it. We were very happy that way. So that's what we do. We take a bit of liberty in treatment, but since the more or less the idea is there, like we'll deal with Hindi and Urdu literature as of now. So it's just that it's a matter of what subject to take, or what poets to take, what poem to take, what short story to take. That is mostly done through brainstorming, and someone read, because the literature is so vast that one person cannot have all the knowledge that this is the good poem. So like everyone come up with their new ideas. Okay, this is the poet, we should try to make something around. So that's what we do here. So there is another question. Do you make content as per the customer's demand, or you stick only to specific themes and genres only? So Dada, as I said, to make the Muntazir is again a very what should I say, our own project. We are trying to create it as a platform, but making content as per the customer's demand, this we do in ex nihilo, which is like out and out commercial exercise, like whatever is the requirement of the company. Let's say they want to have a television commercial, we do it there and give it to them. We don't so that is the source of income. So there we do content as per the demand of the customer. And Muntajar is something which is there is an idea we have, and then we try to do it. So yeah, these are two separate entities. Ex nihilo is advertising, out and out advertising firm, and Muntajar is what I like. This is my foray, or let's say our foray. Like our team is trying to get into the content market. So this is Muntajar is that as of now.
Any other questions from brothers?
Okay, Dada. So I will give you a call. Sure. I have noted your number. Just note your number. If I can get your name, because it's showing solutions for URIP TIPMS private limited, Rajar Siddhas. Okay, Dada. Thank you.
Any other queries before I say thank you to Gulshan? Okay. Gulshan, may I have 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure, Dada.
First of all, Gulshan, thanks very much
Thank you,
for
Dada,
taking
for
your
this.
time. We have been discussing this for at least 7-8 months.
Yeah, in Feb, you got in touch in Feb for the first time. Yeah.
So thanks from all of us, from the EC and from the brothers and the audience, that you came and narrated your journey from school to, and then also college. And so all you had to say, and for the great questions. And that, of course, in Vidyapit, as you said, in our times also, there was a predetermined path that most of us have to either be a doctor or an engineer, and you're one of for us doing what you really enjoy. We could have never imagined in Vidyapit, like
Yeah.
content creation and digital media. And I'm sure you, when we upload your video and share your story, many of the students who are studying will have a different perspective of what they would like to do, or there are many other professions they would like to pursue. So on behalf
Yeah.
of everyone, I thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Thank you, Dada. Thank you for this opportunity, and hope I
We will
did.
upload the video with your permission, and anyone who wants to get in contact with you will
Your voice is completely gone.